Hey there, Five Knuckle fans. Just got back from my screening of Wilson starring Woody Harrelson, and I did not really care for this movie very much. Apparently it's based off of a graphic novel slash comic book. I don't really know the distinction, but there is a distinction and I respect it. Yeah, apparently it's based on that, and the creator was on board but then left it early into production, which, if the creator of something you're adapting for the big screen leaves or is no longer involved, that is not a great sign. And it's pretty apparent here. I haven't read the original novel, I'm sure it's fine, but this movie just seemed really dull to me overall. It was a dull flick. There were some scenes, where Woody Harrelson's awkward and somewhat, misanthropic behavior would be funny, but for the most part it really wasn't. They fell flat. I think it had to do a lot with the editing. The editing was pretty poor in this movie overall. But what's the plot? Let's get into the plot. Well, Woody Harrelson, after the death of his father, reflects on the fact that he really has nobody left in his life. He once had an ex who left him, supposedly had an abortion, and went on to move to a completely different place. He reconnects with her, and we find out that she did not have the abortion. She gave the baby up for adoption. So Woody Harrelson and the woman go to find the daughter and see how she's turned out and try to make her part of their lives. Yeah, Tara Reid is in this. She plays basically like someone that keeps saying like she's trying to get her life back together, yet constantly goes on these charades with Woody Harrelson's Wilson, so her motivations seemed a little bit confused. The daughter, there actually is a pretty funny scene where she responds realistically to this scenario. That it was great. That was one of the good gags of her initial quick reaction to realizing these were her real parents, supposedly. The plot from there is basically it's kind of all over. I mean, first he becomes part of her life, and then he gets arrested, and then some other stuff happens, and then more stuff, so there was never really much of a flow. The only goal for him was just to be a part of someone else's life, but that was about it. Practically anyone he's looking for just to be part of his life. As I said before, the editing is really strange in this movie. There was one scene in particular that kind of bothered me. They were sitting in a car driving on the highway, and they turn on the radio and it's playing the Call Me Maybe song. And all three of them are like, nah, let's turn that off. And they turn it off. Now, there's 5 seconds of the song being off. And then there's a wide shot, of the car driving down the highway. And the song starts playing again for 3 seconds. And then they cut to them being at the house they were going to, and the music has stopped. It confused me, why the hell would you make that kind of edit? Why would you include that 3 seconds of the song? Where did it come from? There's stuff like that, or like another example with a dialogue scene between two characters who only appear for that one scene. Woody Harrelson is talking. Woman is looking at Woody Harrelson. Man is looking away. Woody Harrelson is talking again. Man is suddenly facing Woody Harrelson. So it was sort of weird, sometimes he wouldn't be looking at him, but for the most of the time he would, and there was never really a shot of him turning around or really a reason for him to turn around. He just had his back turned. This was not a very well-edited movie. The edits in this are strange and sometimes even hurt the flow of the jokes. There's a little fight scene between Tara Reid and her sister, and it wasn't the best choreographed because of its simplicity, but that could have been fixed with good editing, and the editing was not good and just made the whole thing seem stilted and awkward and not very realistic. And that's about it. My main problem with this movie is there's never really an impact. It's going for comedy and emotional impact, and it fails on both fronts. It fails with the comedy because of the, let's be honest, kind of subpar acting in this movie. I love Woody Harrelson, but this just was not his best performance. And partly to do with the editing of some of the dialogue scenes themselves, either awkward continuity errors that would draw your attention to stuff in the background, or just plain ruining the flow of how like a natural conversation would sound. And then there's the emotional impacts where, the death of his father in the opening scene, it starts out with him sort of, making his cynical jokes, and the dad dies, and then it's a sad scene, but then we're back to happy again. Or we would hear about, a character, one of the main characters stabbing him in the back and betraying him, but we don't see it, and it's sort of said as an offhanded comment. So I don't know what this movie was trying to do. It was trying to be like one of those typical indie comedies. Somewhat cynical humor, a lot of emotional heart to it, sort of like Little Miss Sunshine, to where it's not necessarily slapsticky, wacky humor. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Overall, I would not recommend this movie. I can't say I cared all that much for it. I wouldn't see it again. And, try again next time, guys. Alright, spoiler time. I'm going to go into some of the spoilers in this movie just a little bit. There really isn't that much to talk about in the movie. So, yeah, when I talk about a character stabbing him in the back, that was the daughter character. So, basically, she left with Woody Harrelson and Tara Reid without telling her parents, and, two people who are not her legal parents taking her without the parents knowing, he gets arrested, and the next shot of him is in prison, and he says, when she testified against me. It's like, wait, who, the daughter? When? Like, why didn't we get that scene? Like, that could have been a legitimately emotionally impactful scene. Could have had him in the courtroom, him doing his wacky shtick and making things worse for himself at the jury, and then when he gets the best second of hope, in comes the daughter. She says, yes, he did kidnap me, he's crazy. Boom. Emotional impact. He feels completely betrayed by someone he wanted to connect with. Like, that's how you could have played that out, and it would have been really effective instead of just an offhanded, oh yeah, she did that. And then have her later be like, oh yeah, I did that, but I was a kid. And in the end, she decides she moves to another state after getting pregnant, and he visits her over, and he basically communicates her over webcam, sees the baby, hello baby, he's happy. He didn't get back together with Tara Reid. She sort of went off with her sponsor to another place, and she's dropped out of the movie. He gets together with this woman who was looking after his dog. But those are my rambling thoughts. What are yours, folks? Leave a comment down below and tell me what you think about adaptations where the creators leave. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Follow us on the social media. And, as always, beware the light. It's going to be my new catchphrase. It's from Logan. Stephen Merchant said that. Beware the light.